Again, welcome everybody to the Business Banking Products for Nonprofits webinar offered by the New Jersey Center for Nonprofits. I am the Director of Education Services for the center, and we are delighted to welcome the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and a whole team of people, because it takes a lot of people to talk about this issue. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the center. We do three primary areas of focus. One is advocacy, where we monitor New Jersey and federal legislation. We educate legislators on all levels. We have we do policy information forums, and we do a little bit of research. So we're here to help you know what the impact of different laws and changes in policies, how they affect the nonprofit sector. We also offer education. We have a conference in December. We have webinars and gatherings, workshops like this one. We also offer help desk guidance if you have questions about running your organization. That's what we're here for. We're also a membership organization, so organizations like yours can join the center and get some extra benefits. We serve everybody in the state. There's no reason not to contact us, but our members just get some free job postings and free, like this webinar today is free for everybody, but our regular webinars we do charge for non-members. So please consider that and share, if you have had a good experience, please share with your colleagues and friends. We're a member of the National Council of Nonprofits. The New Jersey Center for Nonprofits is a state association, and there are 40-some others. So if you know people in other states, or if you go to another state, there are organizations like this one to help guide you through the nonprofit red tape and legal processes. So today, I'm going to be introducing our New Jersey Economic Development Authority team. Barbara Bickert we worked with Barbara for quite a few years. She's been a wonderful supporter for the nonprofit community. We have Lakeisha White, who is a program manager for business banking, Alberto Garrido, who is a small business liaison, and Brian Timberman, who's the senior business development officer. I'm going to turn it over to, stop sharing, and I'm going to turn it over to Barbara Bickert right now, and she will introduce you to the team.
Thanks so much, Deb. We are forever grateful for this partnership that we've been able to develop with New Jersey Center for Nonprofits, that they have been, wonderful. They're incredible leaders in this particular sector. My role as Senior Advisor of Arts and Culture is to really focus on the arts and cultural nonprofits. And by default at the EDA, I have also become kind of the content expert in terms of all nonprofits and the needs of nonprofits. And in that role, my work inside the EDA has been to work with several different teams here, including the Small Business Services team, the Business Banking team, in order to figure out how we can make the grants, the loans, the financial products that these guys work with more accessible in terms of how we communicate about them to the nonprofit sector. And so over the past several months, we have put together this deck, this presentation, and I'm pretty confident that the work that that the EDA is doing and that the work that these teams do is and the work of this webinar is communicated in all new ways that are kind of more accessible, more user-friendly for nonprofits. So two things that are really important for all of you to bear in mind about today. This is a lot of information. The team is going to cover, give or take, 10 programs that are grant and loan programs that the EDA offers, all of which are available to nonprofits. You don't have to become experts in what they're telling you. Sit back, get the overview, and think about what your particular needs are for your organization. and note that, and then you'll have lots of time to contact, after today, you can contact the particular experts for each of these products or programs at the EDA. So the goal for today for us, and I think should be for you guys, if I can be bossy, I used to be a teacher, is to let this information give you the overview, let it wash over you. You don't need to know all of the bells and whistles, but listen, understand which ones might be the best fit for you, and then by all means contact our team members to go, okay, we think that this is a good fit. Talk to us. Here's what our needs are. Talk to us about whether or not this program, Alberto, is, a good fit for what we're doing and so on. So let's go to it. And I'm going to introduce Alberto Garrido and hand it over to him. He is one of our small business liaisons, and he's going to talk about those programs in particular, all of which are grants.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you everybody for joining us today, for taking the time to learn a little more about the resources that you can use to grow your business. And thank you, Debbie, and your team for facilitating this meeting as well. As Barbara said, my name is Alberto Garrido. I'm a small business liaison with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, also known as the NJEDA. The NJEDA's purpose, we are part of the state government, is to serve as the state's principal agency for driving economic growth. And we do this basically by providing all types of resources for all types of businesses in New Jersey. Our focus today is in financial resources for small businesses, and that's exactly where we're going to start today. So if you're considering for your business, you need to purchase new equipment, or you are looking to grow and hire new or part-time staff, full or part-time staff, you have in your plans, you need to cover general operating costs, or you're looking at this location, you want to purchase commercial real estate. There's certainly a lot of reasons why you can turn to the NJEDA and learn about the different resources that are available. Again, there's a number of other reasons that include even just refinancing your debt, or from the grants that I'll be speaking about right now, that just help you expand your business or grow your business in different ways, which we'll get into detail in a second. So as we just started to mention, the types of resources you can find at the NJEDA go anywhere from grants. You can also find conventional financing through loans. We do offer some bond financing as well, and we do have different products that can offer you as well, technical assistance as well. So let's get in the weeds and let's try to understand how these grants for small businesses work, which also, just I may say, is small businesses and nonprofits as well. Okay. So I am part of the small business liaison, small business services team, and my role is to try to connect you with these services, with these resources. So the first grant that we'll speak about is the small business lease grant. You can think about this grant as a way to offset your lease payments during the first 2 years when you go into a new lease agreement. So if you're looking to go from a home-based business into a commercial location, if you already have a location but you're looking to expand and open new locations, or if you're a developer and you're looking to lease out commercial space, you can use this as an incentive as well to attract potential business owners. So again, if you go into a new lease agreement that is at least a 5-year lease term, okay, it can be more, but at least a 5-year lease term, and it's at a street level location. That means that if it's in a building on a second or third floor, it would not be eligible unless it also has space at a street level, right? Once you sign your lease agreement, we give you 12 months to apply for this grant. Okay, 12 months. So if you're approved, the way that this grant works is that the EDA will basically cut you a check for 20% of your first year annual lease payments. That's equivalent of about 2.5 months worth of rent. Once you make 12 months of lease payments, we give you another check for 20% of your second year annual lease payments. And that's the grant. We pay 20% of your first and second year annual lease payments. So keep in mind that you cannot have or the landlord cannot have an ownership interest in the applicant. So basically, you cannot lease to yourself. The space does have to be at least 250 square feet. It can be over 10,000 square feet, but the grant will cover up to 10,000 square feet. And again, this is mostly intended for new leases, but if you're trying to qualify or be eligible with an amended or a renewed lease, you need to include or add at least 250 square feet of additional space than what's stated in the original lease. Okay. So as I was mentioning, you can do one application per location. So if you use this to expand your business and open new locations, you can do one application at each location. And just some things to just keep in mind. You cannot be in default with any other NJEDA or state assistance by the time that you apply. This is obviously something that will pop up in our system. If you have an incubator, maybe a high-tech incubator, a business incubator, a kitchen incubator, you as an operator can apply for this grant, not its members, but you could apply even if you do have an incubator. And if you want to benefit from this grant, this is something that you do need to keep in mind. There is a wage commitment and a time commitment. The time commitment is that you need to stay in that location for at least 5 years, which would be at least the duration of your lease term. The wage commitment is that you have to commit to pay your employees at least 120% of the minimum wage if you have employees. This only applies if you have employees, okay? Maybe you don't have employees. Maybe you're paying them already over that amount, so this would not apply to you. It only applies if you have employees and you are paying them at least or under 120% of the minimum wage. Then after you're approved, you have to commit to raise those salaries to at least that amount. Okay. There's certain different types of minimum wages. So if you have like a restaurant where the minimum wage for tip employees is obviously much less, it would be that type of minimum wage that we would consider. And for basically all of our grants, we require a document that is called the Business Tax Clearance Certificate. This is something you can process online. It's basically a way of you letting us know that you're up to date with your taxes. It's something that if you have any issues processing, we do give you guidance and additional instructions on how to process that online. And you also need to be in good standing with the Department of Labor and the Department of Environmental Protection. If you go through this process and you're approved, there will be a $100 non-refundable fee. After you're approved, I believe this is a pretty good deal considering the average amount of the grant is over $25,000. So next slide, please. So our most popular grant, the Small Business Improvement Grant. So you can think of this grant as a reimbursement grant, right? You get back money that you already spent on your business. So the great thing about this grant is that it's also open for home-based businesses. This actually would be the only grant that we have available right now for home-based businesses. Okay. So the way that it works, if you're a home-based business, you can request the state to reimburse you for the purchase of new, keyword is new, no used, no refurbished, new furniture, fixtures, or equipment. Okay. There's a 2-year look back. So you can go back 2 years if your business is older than that and dig out any invoice of any eligible expense that you think you can apply for this grant and request the state to reimburse you 50% up to $50,000. Okay. So the minimum amount that you can request a state to get reimbursed, it can be one or more different expenses. It's $5,000 maximum to get $2,500 back. But if you submit $100,000 worth of eligible invoices, you can get as much as $50,000 back. If you have a brick and mortar location, you can also add repairs and improvements. Brick and mortar meaning that you have that physical commercial space, right? That you're not home based. Then you can include repairs and improvements as well. Okay, so maybe you needed to do the floors, electrical work, plumbing, maybe change the windows, doors, number of different items could be eligible for, or expenses could be eligible for the under this grant. So again, the important thing is that it's within that time frame of 2 years. There are obviously certain ineligible expenses or items. Basically, just a way for you to understand what's ineligible. Hardware is eligible, right? So if you have a homes, say a setup at home to operate your business where you maybe just purchase a new desk and a new computer or a new iPad and a new phone and a new printer, whatever it is that you need in that space to operate your business could be eligible for reimbursement. Okay. Again, the parts of repairs and improvements only applies if you have a brick and mortar location. All right. If you lease in that space, physical space, we would need a landlord's permission. That basically just lets us know that the landlord is aware that you are the one applying for this grant and you are the one benefiting from this grant. Okay. If you there is a commitment, of course. If you do get less than $25,000 or up to less than 25,000, you have to commit to stay in that location for 2 years. If you get $25,000 or more, you have to commit to stay in that location for 4 years. All right. Just want to make a distinction. The lease grant, which I just spoke about before, there's a street level requirement for the location that does not apply for this grant. Okay. So this grant, you can have a location anywhere in New Jersey. Okay. And then the time commitment also varies because this is by the amount that you get. The lease grant is at least the duration of the lease term. Okay. Next slide, please. So with the lease grant, you can do one application per location. With the improvement grant, you can do one application across all locations that you might have. Okay, so if you have different locations under the same EIN, you can include all those costs, all those repairs, improvements, purchase of any eligible items in one application. If you have separate EINs, so different businesses with different EINs, or sorry, locations with businesses with different EINs, you can do one application per EIN or per location in that case. Okay. The requirements are very similar to the lease grant. Okay, you cannot be in default or basically owe any money to the state or the EDA by the time that you apply. And the most important part, obviously, are the invoices or the proof of purchase. So basically, what we look for is in an invoice is the date to make sure that it's within that time frame of 2 years. The item to make sure it's an eligible item. If it was something delivered, that was delivered to the address of your business, and the method of payment, so we can make sure that it was your business who purchased or who made that expense. Okay. Any invoice that you want to submit for reimbursement, keep in mind, it needs to have the name of the business or nonprofit that will be applying for the grant. Okay, sometimes we pay out of pocket or we have different businesses and we lend money from one another. In those cases, there has to be a reimbursement first to that party. So then you can request the state to reimburse you for that expense. Okay. Also keep in mind the Small Business Improvement Grant is a great resource, but you can only apply for it once per the lifetime of your EIN. So if you apply for this grant and you get $30,000, which is a great grant, you can't come back later for the other 20,000. So my suggestions to everybody always, obviously, is make sure you get the maximum benefit. So take your time, just making sure that you gather all the information that is needed and any invoice that you think might be eligible. Okay. The wage requirements is the same as the lease grant, at least 120% of the minimum wage. You also need to submit a business tax lien certificate for this grant. And there's also a $100 non-refundable fee. But again, the average grant amount also for this grant is over $25,000. So it's a great deal. And lastly, I'll talk about the Small Business E-commerce Support Program. Keep in mind, these grants are all stackable. So if you're eligible for all of them, you can apply for all of them at the same time. Okay. So the Small Business E-commerce Support Program, there's no application for this grant. The lease grant, the improvement grant, you have to do an application online through our portal. The e-commerce support program is actually a great resource where we help you or we sit you down with 7 different e-commerce consultants that partner with us for this grant. If you're in one of 3 sectors, which is restaurants, retail stores, or personal care businesses. Personal care businesses such as barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, yoga centers, wellness centers. Retail stores, as long as somebody can walk into your business and purchase either excuse me, either a product or a service, it can be considered a retail store under this grant. Okay. But the great thing about this grant, about this resource is that you actually choose who you want to work with. Right. So we'll get to a slide where you can actually see the vendors that partner with us. But you do your homework, you see what type of work they do, what fits your business needs better, and you reach out to them. You have a conversation with them. They talk about, I guess, what your plans are and what the status of your website. And if you're eligible, they let us know, and we basically cut them a check for up to $11,400, so you can sit with them and work on a number of solutions for your website. Next slide, please. That include simply optimizing your website. You can include the creation of an e-commerce platform. For restaurants, they can help you create an online ordering platform. For personal care businesses, they can help you make an online reservation platform. They can help you with your digital marketing plan. Bottom line, it's a great resource to revamp your website. We understand that a lot of business has shifted towards e-commerce, and not everybody has been able to keep up, with the changes. So it's a great resource to, get your business found, because they actually also help you with your SEO, which is how to get your business found online. So again, the benefits of this program are tremendous. I mean, I just talked about a few. It can just make your customer experience a lot easier through your business, through your website. As I was mentioning, you can get help with your SEO. They can help you set up a platform where you can sell gift cards or sell, just create an online store. It's a great resource basically to get your website up to date. Okay. So the vendors that we partner for this grant are these, and they service different regions of the state. The contact information is also up on our website. Again, these are great partners that are doing a tremendous work. I know that we've already serviced over 400 different small businesses in the state through this program. So, it's just a great resource. Now, just also keep in mind, this is not for home-based businesses. You do need to have the brick and mortar location for this. Okay. So again, just to be clear, retail stores, okay, under this grant, the concept of a retail store, as long as somebody can walk into your business and purchase either a product or a service, it could be considered a retail store under this grant. But keep in mind that the NJEDA does not assess the eligibility. It's the vendor. So the important part is to reach out and have that conversation with them, and that's where what your options are with this grant. Okay. Well, I hope that information was very useful. Remember, these programs are all open. They're all currently funded. So I encourage you to learn more, njeda.gov. And I know that my contact information will be available at the end of the slide. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Lakeisha.
Thank you, Alberto, for sharing that great information. And so if you do have questions as we're going through the slides, please be sure to use the Q&A feature, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And so this grant program that I'm going to be sharing is one that we launched October 2024. And so this is our Main Street Acquisition Support Grant. This grant provides reimbursement for closing costs for small businesses and nonprofits that have purchased a commercial property from which their business will operate from. And so some key features with this program, of course, is that it's limited to one application per EIN, just for a maximum of one single location. Again, for the nonprofits and for-profit entities, you must be in New Jersey. And so the closing must have taken place after the application was open to the public. So if you've had a closing that has occurred after October 1st of 2024, you can definitely go ahead and apply for this grant for reimbursement of closing costs. And so the application date can not be no more than 1 year. So if you had a closing, start your application process right away. Your business or nonprofit must meet the SBA definition, and this is going to be based on your NAICS code. What's important also is that your small business or nonprofit must occupy at least 1,000 square feet of the total usable square footage of the commercial space. So you have to be occupying at least 1,000 square feet. And then the purchase must be what is considered as an arm's length transaction with a conventional lender. What that means is if your nonprofit or small business receive financing with the EDA directly, or the SBA, or a community development financial institution, which is a CDFI, or a minority development institution, which is an MDI, your local bank or credit union, or any state entity, or any local, state, or government administered loan program. And you must have gone through underwriting standards. If you receive financing from a hard money lender, that would not qualify. Some additional terms, of course, is that it's only for new purchases. It cannot be for a refinance of an existing loan. And the property that purchased, it cannot be for residential use only. So if it's a mixed use property, then that could possibly be eligible. Vacant land is not eligible for this. And just as Alberto explained about for employees and tipped employees, we do have that minimum wage requirement for this program as well. Some important things with this program, of course, is that the applicant must operate from the property for at least 5 years. We do place a 5-year deed restriction, and this is to prevent the sale or transfer of the property during that period. This program just has a $500 application fee. It's due at the time of approval. And then the additional terms and conditions can be found on our website. What is important to note for the Main Street Acquisition Support Grant is that if there is a real estate holding company and the small business applicant, there must be the same ownership structure. But what I would say is if you're interested in this program where you're looking to purchase a commercial property, please be sure to reach out to us afterwards so that we can better assist you. And so now we'll go into our business banking programs that will include more financing resources such as lending. The first program I'm going to go over is our New Jersey Capital Access Fund. And so this is a working capital loan that can provide funding up to $250,000. And so you would work with one of our experienced network of nonprofit lenders. And so what's great about this program is that the terms can be between 36 to 60 months. Again, you can borrow up to $250,000. There's no minimum fees and no prepayment penalty. With this program, this is one of our only lending programs from the business banking team where we don't have a specific collateral requirement. So that's where we don't require commercial real estate or equipment. This program also does not have a minimum credit score requirement, and the interest rate for this program, it's not going to exceed 10.5. So this program is going to be a good fit. Instead of you using credit cards to pay for some of your larger business expenses, this would be a good idea for you to use this for your nonprofit or small business. Some other key features, of course, is that your business has to be in the state of New Jersey operating, have fewer than 50 employees, and your annual gross revenue should be 10 million or less. You also want to ensure that your small business or nonprofit has been in business for at least 1 year prior to your date of application, and you have to show the ability to repay the debt that you're looking to borrow. And we're going to look through your business cash flow, what your operating income is. So this can be used for payroll, supplies, rent, utilities, marketing and advertising, and then other business expenses. You cannot use this program for equipment or machinery purchases. And then for more information on this, you can look to our New Jersey Capital Access Fund. With this program, it's very easy to apply. There's about 4 or 5 simple questions that you'll be asked, and then you'll be right fit with one of our nonprofit lenders. And so now we'll go into some of our loan programs that we do have available. So here's some key features about our lending programs and why you would want to come to the EDA or partner with us through one of our lenders as we go through for financing. This is going to provide you for flexible use of financing. Now, for the financing that we're going to go over, this will require collateral such as commercial real estate or equipment or machinery. You also can use it for working capital to help with payroll or marketing, or if you're doing a lease, and if you want to refinance debt. So if your organization has debt that you'd like to consolidate, that is something that we can help you with. Again, you have to be a nonprofit or small business that's in the state of New Jersey. And what's great about our programs is that we do have low cost interest rates. Our interest rates are going to be based off of the US Treasury, and they will be fixed for the full term of the loan. We do not offer prepayment penalties. So if you pay our loan off early, we're not going to penalize you for that. And then for the loans, if it's for a commercial real estate purchase, we can do financing up to 100%. And so what that means for you is that would be less money that you'd have to put out of pocket for your down payment. And then for equipment, we can do up to 90% of the value of the equipment. Now, what's important to note for the programs that we'll be going over for lending is that home-based businesses are not eligible to apply for these programs. Some other general requirements, of course, will be that owners with 10% or more ownership in the business, they will be responsible to personally guarantee the loan. For nonprofits, we don't have that requirement. And then for these programs, we are going to require collateral. That can be a personal or commercial real estate property, equipment, or machinery. And then the other thing is that for the financing of a property, you must operate your business or your nonprofit from at least 51% of the space. The loan decision of approval is going to be based on your organization's ability to repay the debt. And we're also going to be looking at your business or nonprofit's cash flow. For the lending applications, the fees are non-refundable. So what we like to do, and after today, if you find that your organization is interested in applying for any of our lending programs, we'd like to have an opportunity to talk with you first. So you would meet with one of our small business development officers. They want to be able to understand the needs of your business before you apply, since that application fee is non-refundable. And then there are additional terms and conditions, which we'll go over with you as you're going through the application process. And so we do have a dedicated business support team that will be working with you one-on-one throughout the entire process. We do have an interest form that you can go on our website and complete, and this just helps us to better understand your eligibility and your lending needs. And so when you are ready to apply, we'll go over those steps with you, because again, we don't want you to submit the application in advance of meeting with us, since the fees are not refundable. And so you'll have a business banking officer that will work with you from start to finish and go over your lending resources that will be best for your organization. And so one of our programs that I'll be going over with first is our Small Business Fund. So this program is great because it does provide access to low-cost financing to help support your business need for growth and capacity. And so this program is going to help with working capital if you're looking to purchase a commercial real estate property. And this can help small businesses and nonprofits who have an annual revenue of $3 million or less. And so some key features with this program, of course, is that your business must be in operation for at least one full calendar year, and that's going to be for the small businesses. Now, for a nonprofit, it would be for 3 years. Now, for small businesses, we are going to require a personal guarantor. And remember, the personal guarantor is anyone owning 10% or more of the business. And we do have a credit score requirement for small businesses of at least 680. For nonprofits, we do not have that requirement. The application fee for this program is $300, and then we do have a 0.5 commitment fee, which is due at the time of accepting the loan approval, and then a 0.5 closing fee due at the time of closing the loan. So what's great about this program is that, again, we have the minimal fees that are associated with it, and then the interest rate. Our next program is our direct loan program. And so this is going to be a good fit for your organization if you're looking to do a larger loan amount and you want to take your business to the next level, or if you have a project that you're working on and you'd like to get some additional funding resources. And so this will be for financing up to $2 million, and this can be for a commercial real estate purchase, or if you're looking to purchase equipment. We can also provide working capital for operating expenses up to $750,000. Now, what's key about this program is that when you're looking to do financing for this amount, we do have a requirement for creation of a job or retaining a job, and that's going to be for every $65,000 of EDA exposure. So for every $65,000 that we lend, we're going to require you to either create or retain one full-time W-2 job, and that's going to be within a 2-year period of closing. And then the other part of this, of course, is that we do require for this program for small businesses and nonprofits to be in operation for 2 full calendar years. So that's going to be important for this program. This program does have higher application fee. It's going to be $1,000 application fee. And then for the commitment fee, it's going to be 0.875 at the time of accepting the loan. And then for closing, it's going to be a 0.875 closing fee. So what's important if you're interested in any of the lending programs is we would love the opportunity to meet with you, talk with you first about your business project that you're looking to do, because we don't want you to just go ahead and pay the application fee. And so now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Brian Timmerman. He's our Senior Business Development Officer, and he'll be going over our other lending programs that we have available.
Well, thank you, Lakeisha, and thank everyone for allowing us to present today. My background is I've been in commercial banking for well over 30 years as a commercial lender, and this kind of fits well with my role here at the EDA. Our first program I'm going to speak of is our Premier Lender Loan Program. In this program, we partner with banks, our premier lenders, and this program can provide up to $2 million for-profit or not-for-profit businesses in New Jersey that can be used for real estate equipment, working capital, and we also offer line of credit guarantees. Again, this would have to be a business in operation for 2 full calendar years. Same job retention or creation as the direct loan program of $65,000 of exposure for each job. And again, that can be, within 2 years. This requires a $1,000 application fee, and the fees are a little less than the direct loan program, and the $750 commitment fee is due at the time of the loan approval. The line of credit guarantees would require a 0.5% guarantee fee, and we can also guarantee loans for our premier lenders up to 50%. I think there's more detail on the next slide. The loan participations examples here's one for a physician's office that needs $600,000 and they're going to hire new staff. So the banks sometimes are hesitant or reluctant to lend as much as the borrower needs. In this example, the bank lent $300,000, which is 50%. We came in at 40%, $240,000, and the borrower came up with $60,000 or 10%. So in that example, the borrower, only had to come up with 10%. Most banks require a minimum of 20 or more to do a conventional financing. The guarantee program, we back the term loan of up to 50% or the line of credit with the bank. So the maximum guarantee for real estate would be $1.5 million. And that in that case, the loan would be for $3 million. So we would be providing 50% guarantee. And the line of credit, we can go up to $750 guarantee on those line of credit guarantees. And an example of that is the food service company. They needed $1 million equipment loan and a $400,000 line of credit. The banks, okay, they only want to do their portion. The EDA can do 50% of $500,000, and then also guarantee the line of 50% of $200,000 in that example. We constantly run into situations where the bank, the company is growing and the bank may be a little unwilling to do that without this. So we're able to provide additional funding to let that company continue to grow. And this, again, can be used for the nonprofits. Next slide, please. This is a list of our premier lenders. Currently, I believe we have around 28 throughout the state. If you don't see your bank on here, please have them contact one of us. Also mention that you've attended our webinars on financing and heard about our programs. We're always available to speak with the banks that are not premier lenders, and we encourage them to join us. Next slide, please. This is our newest program, New Jersey Lend. Essentially, this is just increases the amount of money that we can lend up to $5 million. So, that could be used for financing the real estate or equipment, and up to $1 million for working capital or operating expenses. This program requires at least 2 full years in operation, 3 years for nonprofits, have no more than 750 employees. Again, the same $65,000 one job for each 65,000. And also we require 50% of personal guarantees, with those guarantors having a minimum credit score of 700. This would not be required for nonprofits. Nonprofits typically don't provide the personal guarantees. These fees are $1,000 application fee, 0.875 commitment fee. If it is with a premier lender, that would only be $750, and 0.875 closing fee on direct loans. So we can do this both direct, the New Jersey EDA lends the money, or also participate with one of our premier lenders. Next slide, please. Here's an example of stacking. So we provided a nonprofit in Burlington a $280,000 small business loan from the EDA to purchase a property for $300,000. They also received over $32,000 in an improvement grant, and that helped them reimburse them for the purchase of new furniture and fixtures and equipment, and also $6,300 for the Main Street Acquisition Support Grant. So they were able to obtain the funding for their actual closing costs for the purchase of that property. So 3 products or programs they were eligible for. So if you are looking at a program, check to see if there are other programs that you can also benefit from. Next slide, please. We also provide bond financing. We're an issuer of bonds for nonprofits of 501c3s. There's no limit. So, that can be great for larger projects. It can be used for land and building acquisition, new construction, renovations, equipment purchases, refinance debt, working capital. Typically, you have to have a larger dollar amount to offset the bond counsel fees and all that. So typically 4 or 5 million and above would make sense to look into this. The reason you would want to go bond financing is the lender, be it a direct purchase through a bank or a public offering, can issue these bonds or the loan tax-free. So then they could turn around and charge a lower interest rate compared to if it were taxable. Next slide, please. Here's an example of a bond that we issued for the New Jersey PAC, and our portion was $50 million. So that was used to, transfer or improve that facility. It's a big commercial project, new 53,000 square foot community or state-of-the-art rehearsal space and renovations, administrative building, and expand educational and operational capacity. Next slide. So once you're ready to apply, Lakeisha had mentioned earlier, please reach out to a BDO and there'll be a list of our contact information in a few slides. But we guide you through. I'm on the phone, a lot helping applicants through the process. We don't want you to apply for something you're not eligible for. So my job and our job is to make sure that you're applying for the right program, and maybe even offer advice on, well, you should also apply for an additional program to, further benefit you. Next slide, please. And our loan business banking at NJEDA.gov. They have a form you can complete to see your eligibility. And for grants, it's small business services at NJEDA.gov. Next slide, please. And here's our team. So the business banking team, I handle the southern region of the state from Camden County south. We have other BDOs that can assist in the other parts of the state. And small business services, that's Alberto's group, and they can help assist with grant applications, and additional information on those. Next slide. I think that's it. I'll turn it over to Barb, and she can wrap it up.
Thanks, Brian. Brian, there's this one question in the Q&A. If you could jump on there and see if you can answer that from
Oh, yeah.
Tyanio Whitaker, please, or Lakeisha. I'm not sure who's best suited to
Yeah.
answer that question.
I can handle it. Yes.
uh,
Okay, so
And there's one from Yvonne Williams as well.
all right, let me take a look. So it's a religious school looking to build from the ground up. Are there any grants we can apply for to start the building process? On this project, most likely the Small Business Improvement Grant, that is a reimbursement grant, so the funds would have to be spent first prior to application. Unfortunately, we don't have a construction loan program to help with that. However, if there's a premier lender involved, we could look to assist in, the permanent financing once the project is complete.
And then Levon Williams says, I would like to hear more about financial products or opportunities for micro-sized nonprofit organizations, ones with less than 50,000 operating budgets, which are looking to build organizational capacity over time.
Yeah, and besides our grant programs, our loan programs, typically we like to see a minimum loan size of 100,000. However, the New Jersey Capital Access Fund may be a source to assist in this request.
And it looks like that's all of the questions. We're a little ahead of schedule, so I think we could just sort of pause here before closing out to see if there are any additional questions that folks want to type into the Q&A. Deb, do you want to chime in there on that, or?
Yeah, I can't activate my camera at the moment. But let me just jump in quickly. I have a couple of questions, and certainly everybody, please, go to the Q&A box and enter any questions that you have at this point. I know this is a lot of information to process, so you'll have questions later, and we'll be sending you, all that information. So here we go. I have a question. One of the personally, one of the things that has irritated me over the last, I don't know how many years, is even with interest rates being at 0% or 1%, banks have been charging, 17 and 23 and stuff like that. I don't understand the process of what controls the interest rates, but this is one of the big issues for nonprofits, is using a credit card is just, economic suicide at times. So you're offering these types of program, the loans you're offering at a much lower interest. Can you give us any indication of about what the interest ranges might be?
Sure. Typically, here's an example on if you're buying a building, typically, we'd have a 520, 525, which means for the first 5 years, the rate would be set at, we would use a 5-year treasury, which currently is around 4%. And then we would add an index for risk, depending on the type of business it is, the collateral, the strength of the cash flow, and that can be anywhere from 0 to 275. So worst case, you're talking 675, which in my experience, it's never been that high. That's probably a pretty risky loan that would be priced at that point. Typically, it comes in at 1.5 over. So you're talking 5.5 versus, a bank, which is probably starting 7, 8%.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Thank
another reason the applicants or borrowers, they benefit from us working with the premier lender. So the bank may charge 7, 8%, and we're at 5. Well, the blended rate, they're saving money.
Okay, wonderful. The other question I had was, you've said them on multiple of these programs that for every $65,000, you have to create one full-time job. Now that it sounds to me like that's would be equivalent to half of the money being allocated. Now you said it's over 2 years. So is there a presumption of growth leading that, driving that?
It could, or it could be existing jobs. If the example I
Oh.
always give, so the funding requested from the EDA is 650,000. So we're looking for 10 full-time positions. Well, maybe they have 8. And with this funding, within 2 years,
Oh,
if they can commit to hiring 2 more full-time positions,
okay.
that would meet that eligibility requirement.
Okay, that's very, very helpful. Okay, great. Thank you. How about possible grants for New Jersey nonprofits that work overseas for orphanages and schools?
That would depend on the use of the funding. Like the improvement grant, if they needed equipment or, for their facility here in New Jersey, then that's possible. But I would not discourage anyone from applying. There's no cost for the grant programs. So, apply, and the worst thing that can happen is, well, maybe some of it's eligible and other part is not. So to me, it just makes sense to ask. Yes. And every request is unique. That's why it's difficult, especially on the loan side. There's no two commercial loans or business loans that are the same. That's why we encourage, to reach out to us, and maybe we can assist in letting what can or cannot work. And maybe even if we can't help, we have sister agencies that may be able to help.
I just want to let you know about some upcoming events at the Center for Nonprofits. And on our calendar, we have all kinds of different training events. So on fundraising, on marketing, on all kinds of different things, professional development. July one, I'll point out to you, is our sister organization in Utah is offering a webinar called Nonprofit Fundraising, Frenetic to Focused. So that might be of interest to people. On August 5th, the Center and the Council of New Jersey Grant Makers are presenting our annual joint policy forum. And we'll be talking about issues in terms of policies, regulations, budgets, that sort of thing. So if that's your jam, please join us. I went last year and it was really very, very interesting, even for a non-financial person. We also have our Policy World Wednesdays. They are every month except August. We're skipping August, so the next one is September 10th. That we again talk about policy issues. And then as Barbara mentioned, we do have our annual conference on December 3rd. It's always the first Wednesday in December. And we have all kinds of workshops. We have networking opportunities. Come and meet the other people that are making New Jersey a great state and keeping people safe and fed and educated and healthy. So as I mentioned, the Center for New Jersey Nonprofits is a membership organization. We consider it an investment in your organization to join us because you get a variety of benefits. Some of them are financial discounts, but there's also the help desk. There are also some gatherings, meetings that we do that are specific to our members. So if you want to join us, we're offering everybody on this webinar a 10% discount if you join by August 17th. You go into our membership portal at any time and just enter the discount code HORSE-NJ, all one word. And that's because the horse is the state animal, and we would love to have you join us. I really want to thank all of you here, Barbara, Lakeisha, Alberto, and Brian. This has been extremely informative, and I want to extend our appreciation for what the New Jersey Economic Development Authority is doing and the support that you're offering for our business communities, and nonprofits are businesses too. It's just that we're also nonprofits, we're charitable. So your support is very, very meaningful. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And as I said, you'll be hearing from us shortly hereafter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.